Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Community Report. I am Dari Idu. Sungbo Eredo, a grove used as a system of defensive walls traversing Lagos and Ogun, is on Nigeria's tentative list of potential UNESCO World Heritage Sites. There are many research and publications one can find about this place, and historians and archaeologists are still digging to verify claims and ascertain facts around this monument. In the meantime, government agencies, traditional institutions, and interestingly, young creators are joining the campaign to help preserve and protect the site beyond its current state. The Lagos State Art Council is leading this expedition. We set out early, traveling from the state capital in Ikeja to Epe, a historical town located on the north side of the Lekki Lagoon and about 90 kilometers from Ibadan. An hour drive to the town, our first stop is at the palace of the Ilara of Epe, the paramount ruler of the town. Traditional institutions are custodians of heritage and traditions. In modern-day political structure, they work with government and its agencies.
And we have to promote, present and preserve their culture for generations to come. And then when the governor came into power in 2019, he gave us a mandate that we should do a kind of tourism master plan. So that at the end of the next 30 years, we want to use tourism to generate commerce, to generate economy into Lagos. Bearing in mind the fact that we want to make Lagos the 5th tourist destination in Africa. And then one of the pillars of that tourism master plan is our culture and our heritage. And if you look behind now, we are sitting down behind the palace of Alara of Ilara. And then if you go down history, the Alara, when it was coming from Ife, is one of the few obas that came with beaded crowns. Most obas didn't come with beaded crowns when they were coming from Ife. You know, everybody knows that the Yorubas generated from Ife before they spread across the west coast of Africa. So it's one of the obas that came with beaded crown from Ife to found Ilara town. And we're here because of the fact that we have some heritage in Ilara we want to preserve, especially the Sungbo Eredo rampart, which is believed to be the longest rampart in the world outside of the China Great Wall. And then it was said at that time initially that they used that rampart to kind of a wall defense against people coming to attack them. So that's why we're here now, for us to preserve the rampart. We in the arts and culture, we're looking at a situation where we can present a festival per year across the locations. We have Ekpe, we have Badagry, for the Ibiles now. We have Ekpe, we have Badagry, we have Lagos, we have Ikeja. We want to use the Ekpe as the pilot scheme for presentation of not the normal festivals they do, but this one has to be basically cultural and traditional, and using the various heritage sites we have in the Ekpe division, like the Sungbo Eredo over there, and then like the Ejiri slave market. So that's what we're here to do.
My names are Roseanne. You can address me as Roseanne Victoria.
It's a blend of generations here. Young creators have also joined the trail. They're not only interested in culture, but also willing to play key part in projecting the heritage sites to the rest of the world, working with the custodians.
But they know that you have to do something good.
The traditional ruler welcomes the guest into the community. He gives the background on the site and efforts made so far to preserve it.
What we are trying to do, the stage we are now, is the excavation and archaeological works. some relics and some artifacts has been dug out. They have been taken. They have been. They are trying to date them now to find out how long they have been in existence, and then the whole process there. The only thing left there is the LiDAR survey of the entire. It's about 150 kilometers radius. It has been designated as one of the UNESCO tourist heritage centers in the world, and that's why I said all hands are on deck to ensure that the whole process is being concluded within reasonable time. It's the LiDAR survey stage that we are now. And after that, there is a robust arrangement by both the state governments of Lagos and Ogun, as well as the federal government agencies, represented by the National Council for Museum and Monuments, as well as the NTDC, to ensure that they become fully operational.
Archaeologists and historians have been coming to Eredo, a local council development area in Lagos, to dig more facts about the system of walls. The people are excited about the prospect of attracting investments and willing to support any initiative in that direction.
Ekpe is nice now, which is different from before. A lot of investors are coming in every day. So because of the new road and whatever, so Ekpe is nice now.
It's time to walk the talk, and we are led by the leader of this community to the site.
So we are aware that since 2015, the American and the French government have supported Lagos State to begin to explore the history and the facts of this Sungbo trenches. Now, the point is, we have learned that it's been around for this long a time. We have learned that the history is likened to that of Queen Sheba. But the reality is that we need to fact check. So as at 2015, the French and American government began exploring and carbon dating. I'm aware that this year, before the end of the year, a LiDAR will be sent to scan below the ground to begin to see. What I would see, I haven't come here since that time, is that there is need for us to provide amenities here. For example, navigating these trenches is not easy at all. It's slippery, the earth is caving in. We think that there's need for infrastructure. For example, can we have a suspended walkway? For example, can we have maybe newly erected platforms? Because even the artifacts themselves are beginning to cave into themselves because it's original earthenworks. And this earthenworks that was not burnt or killed. It's just that it has been, left for a long time to just settle by natural compression. So we think that there's need for support in that sense. Now, in terms of tourism, it's an amazing company for tourism. This trail actually leads into a wildlife trail towards Igbonla. It doesn't end there, it comes here and moves into Ogun State. There is a wildlife trail where elephants migrate every year. We find pangolins, we find different species of monkeys, even new species of birds have been spotted. We think that there is need for us to begin to find a way to create a conservatory. That conservatory would then enable us attract different attractions, if I can use that tautology. Additionally, what I've seen, and I would also just employ, is that there is a wishing well that has served the community time immemorial. It is claimed that people come and bathe there and do whatnot. Maybe that is where people like government can come and help to erect some sort of symbolism there. But I cannot argue that the Sungbo is a World Heritage Site that the world needs to know about. The real story behind the Sungbo is that it is where Biliki Sungbo settled and was able to amass a community of people to build a series of trenches. These trenches created a defense wall that was very symbolic in the sense that this was immediately after the fall of the Ife Empire. Now, the point about the Sungbo has been here hidden for almost 500 years. It is claimed that it was settled or developed in the 15th century. Now, this is 2023, almost over 500 years after. We have now realized that the place has been kept in such a pristine state that there are new flora and new fauna. People have discovered that there are new species of animals and new plants. But the point exactly is that it is a traditional Yoruba heritage. It is immersed in the identity of the people, immersed in the visuals of the place. We now are saying that as a people, we need to celebrate it. As you have heard from the Bale elect, that there are different points where they recognize and pay homage to their ancestors. The hope is now that we will bring in the creative Lagos, bring in the instruments of government to begin to retell the story. The story is there, we're not changing it. As a matter of fact, in mythological terms, people say the Queen Sheba is Biliki Sungbo. Yes, but it's exciting, it's interesting. Our job here now is to tell the world what this is. So the opportunity is for Nigerians, Lagosians, to come and own their identities using new forms of entertainment, media, and technology.
We've seen this thing in its raw form.
Yeah. And that's exactly why Matthew and others from his community are here.
I think one of the problems we see here is that it's hard to visualize anything.
Yeah,
and I think that's where 3D comes in. So can you tell us how you can actually project this?
Oh, definitely. I think one of the major issues we have as a continent or as a country is the fact that our stories are not being told by us, and a number of our heritage is dying per se because there is no continuity. So what we're trying to do here is to use the power of interactive 3D, the power of real-time technology such as Unreal Engine to recreate or digitize this environment. So basically, we have like recreating it in 3D, we have repurposing this environment in a situation where people can experience it, you know, either using 3D or watching it in 3D or experiencing it in virtual reality. And also cultural preservation, so preserving what we have here and by basically digitizing it so that generations to come can understand our stories, right, that we tell, and we are telling them in different new media forms, right?
And that digitization can actually also help as a marketing tool.
Oh, definitely, because just to add to that, in terms of marketing, once it is digitized, then we can showcase it to the world, you know, we can showcase it to the global audience, and that is the whole idea of why we want to digitize this.
So how exciting do you think this will be when the world starts with you guys?
I mean, I think it will be really exciting, majorly because we get to learn about our heritage, our culture. Also, we get to explore technology, 3D scanning, photogrammetry, 3D animation, 3D billboard. I mean, we showcase it on 3D billboards. And then VR, right? And all sorts of new forms of media. So I think the major area of collaboration would be knowledge sharing, right? Because obviously the custodians have been here for the longest time, and the youth most of us are not knowledgeable about what's happening here. So I feel like with our creative prowess and then the knowledge of the custodians, we can then come together, collaborate, and create something amazing.
How are we coming back?
The total length of the fortification is more than 160 kilometers. We can't do the entire length, but it will be good to see parts of it. A little adventure won't hurt.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Delicate, and we are getting to the most delicate part here. So, if you decide to come in white, you're on your own.
It's a slightly wide space with walls flanked by trees and other vegetation.
was white when you came.
A tunnel of some sort, but a green one. As we walk right inside the ditch, the trees provide the canopy, but not enough to stop the sunlight from gleaming through them. History has it that the builders of Sungbo Eredo evacuated 3.5 million cubic meters of earth to create a 165-kilometer long ditch with steep vertical walls that runs a length longer than the Hadrian's Wall in England, which is about 117.5 kilometers, and a raised inner embankment that encircles an area larger than the Greater London. Watch it, easy. While there's no archaeological evidence to support the oral tradition connecting the monument to the Queen of Sheba, the sheer size of this site is enough to convince anyone that it may be a treasure hidden for so long.
Let's see.
Okay, so would you do this again? I keep asking you.
Yes, obviously I would. I would over and over again.
Did you enjoy the experience?
Yes, I enjoyed the experience. I mean, it was raw. It was undiluted. You know, I mean, this is what people would kill for.
Yeah.
So I would do it again.
Okay, so one part that I wanted to talk to you about before now was that as a creative, where do you think you can come in, at least to make things better around here?
Okay, make things better around here is probably like helping them refine what they already have, but try not to tamper with nature.
Yeah.
You know, so we can only just make it more accessible. You know, so tourists can come and enjoy the view. You know, without obstructing or causing more damage.
Our expedition continues from the grove to this marina in Ekpe.
I mean, I'm excited about, the stories that are embedded across Ekpe. Particularly, we just left the Sungbo Eredo, and you think about a story like that, and this is a story that's been missing, from our, we think about what was happening in this part of the world at that time. And we can't translate meaningful stories, but you hear about things, the palace existing since 14th century, since the 100 BC. These are parts of our history that I think we can connect to, and they are very amazing stories. The story of Sungbo, an amazing woman who was able to build such, it's a very, it's a feat, and a feat done at that time, so I'm fascinated by those stories, yeah. I do believe that the synergy has to be in the culture. I think that creatives are also looking towards being able to tell stories, really want to tell stories, and the Lagos State Council for Arts and Culture is the custodian of, the arts and culture, for Lagos. And, a collaboration then allows them inspire creatives to be able to tell and translate the stories, into different mediums, from illustration to virtual reality to, music to just many different forms. I mean, I think that, it has to cut across all the different mediums, because when you think about the stories that are fascinating to us, it's from podcasts to illustrations to movies to songs, to just all of the different, because people enjoy many different things, and creativity is an expression of that. It's how people are able to tell the stories in many different ways. So all the different mediums are possible to tell that story. I think that those are the mediums we should use.
This is literally
last place we're going to visit today. We went to the Elvis Palace and we're at the Groove, not too far from here. But this is our final destination. And thank you for joining us.
The experience so far.
Oh, the experience so far, it was really nice actually.
What we're planning to do with the Lagos Council for Arts and Culture is to, first of all, identify a synergy between government and the private sector. The private sector in the capacity of the creative industries, the creative industry professionals, so people who are in photography, advertising, filmmaking, music, writing, fashion, and the likes. The hope is that over the next few weeks, we will find a model to collaborate with them to begin to tell better stories and activations with these heritage sites. I think it's the top two most exciting sites in Lagos. The story is so rich, so full of a lot of Easter eggs that you cannot not but explore it. First of all, it's a site that was founded or developed after the fall of the Ife Empire. That alone is important. So what's the connection between Lagos and the Ife Empire, first of all? Secondly is the fact that it's a 165-kilometer long grove, which is about 8 to 12 to 15 meters deep at different intervals. So you realize that who did this? Why did they do it? First of all. Secondly is also the fact that in modern parlance, it is a potential World Heritage Site. My primary role is to bring stakeholders together to be able to find solutions to support the preservation and promotion of heritage sites. I will primarily say that what we've identified is that the council currently has 4 technical departments. These technical departments represent performing arts, design arts, research, publication and documentation, and creative industries. We realize that these 4 technical departments have so much rooting in the creative industries. Now, what we think that we can do in that way is overlap the various creative industry activities to each of the departments. So, for example, the performing arts department is responsible for music, performances, or we do have players in the creative sector, the design, crafts, arts, players in visual arts, research, publication, writing, journalism, right? And then the creative industry and heritage now becomes festival activation, entertainment. So we've been able to, over the last 6 months, identify stakeholders who can work with this council. And we think that the opportunity here is to create a program.
There are tourism potentials yet to be unearthed in different parts of the country. With beautiful geographical landscapes, mountains, historical places, the prospects are enormous. And that's our show for today, everyone. If you miss any part of it, you can watch it on our YouTube channel. You can also follow the conversation on our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Thank you very much for watching. I am Dari Itu. See you next time, and bye for now.